Hey everybody, it's Coach Bronco from Apex Vaulting. Sorry about last week. It was a busy week. Also, I was a little bit conflicted as what I wanted to post on my weekly video. But this week, I have an interesting topic I want to talk about. I made a post today about how many days a week you should practice the pole vault. And in the post, I talked about the benefits of having 2 or 3 practices a week, because then you can kind of program the pole vault practices. You could have specific days be, drill sessions, short approach, really work on skills, and then you can make the second or third day, longer run approaches, and you try to apply those skills on full jumps. Again, gives you a lot more opportunity to program different sessions instead of trying to mush drills and long run in one session or alternate weeks between drills and long run. And obviously, the more sessions you have a week, the more reps you're going to get, and you should improve quicker, right? Because at the end of the day, everyone wants faster results, right? We want the quicker results. What do I need to do to PR sooner, faster? What do I need to do to get a better grade right now? What do I need to do to get that promotion right now? What do I need to do to make more money right now? How do I lose weight faster? How do I get in shape faster? Everybody wants to know how to hit the fast forward button. And I tweeted out something today. I didn't post it on the Instagram. I will post it tomorrow. But something that gets to be really important is intent. I would make the argument that if you don't have intent, if you're not really intentional with what you're doing, it doesn't matter how many days a week. You could pole vault 7 days a week. You could be going to the gym 7 days a week. You're not going to get there any quicker. That person that's going once a week, but being intentional, they have a purpose why they're going to practice. Every rep counts. They're really trying hard. And this kind of goes back to, something I've talked about in some of these videos. Obviously, only you can truly be the judge of whether you're trying your best, you're giving it your all. But intent is super important. I think too often people get caught up on just checking off boxes. Right? It's I go to practice X number of days a week, Let's say even if we go back to the getting a promotion or raise thing, someone could be like, well, I don't know, I get to work early, I stay late, I always get back to the boss, I'm finishing the reports, I'm at the meetings. Right, but what's actually going on? Those reports you're doing, are they done properly? Do you make a lot of mistakes? Are you being real intentional? When you show up early, stay late, do you actually do more work? Are you productive? Or are you wasting time? And a lot of times, you can give yourself more reps. You could train more days a week. But if you're not intentional with what you're doing, you might just be wasting a lot of time. And I want to be very, very clear, because I was talking to one of the coaches at the club, still jumps, still trains hard, and we were talking about this word intent, and he said, the other day when you brought it up, I made a mistake. And this is where, it's funny, in my tweet, I put a picture of the definition of intent, And he said, I was mistaken when you sent intent the other day. Because I was even just talking about workouts, Like, you got to be real intentional with what you're doing in your workout. And he said, I was mistaken. I thought you were talking kind of about intensity, like doing a real hard workout all the time. Because as you know, if you know anything about training, you can't go 100% all the time, intensity-wise, right? You can't go, max heartbeat all the time. You can't, 1 rep max all the time. Can't run full speed all the time. Because if you do it back to back to back to back days, eventually those numbers will get worse. You'll run slower, you'll lift less weight. So it's not intensity level. Like, you don't need to throw up every time you work out. But like, if you're doing, let's say even an accessory exercise, let's say you're doing bent over rows. Are you really using an appropriate weight? Are you doing the bent over row with proper technique and form? Are you focusing on the muscles that you're trying to contract and build in that exercise? That's intent. Just like in the vault, okay, obviously you can't do full approach every single day. That doesn't make any sense. You will fry your CNS system. I would not recommend doing full approach every single day. But let's say you're even doing a 1 left drill. It's just a drill. And let's say it's part of your warm-up. You're doing a couple 1s or 2s, and then you're going to actually go back to your longer approach that day. Are you doing that simple drill with intent? Are you trying to, perfect it? You never will, by the way. But are you at least trying to perfect it? Are you trying to hit that takeoff drill properly? Are you trying to swing and move the pole? Or are you just going through the motions? Intent is very important. And just like, I've talked about in these videos over the weeks, being able to conduct yourself with intent, making sure that you're not going through the motions, that's a skill we need to build. Hey, I'm at practice. I've got 2 hours at pole vault practice. You know what? I'm going to be real intentional with everything that I do. I'm going to try to make sure these running drills are great. I'm going to try to make sure I get these drills and try to use proper technique, proper form. I'm going to run nice and tall, good posture. I mean, if you can't vault with intent for 2 hours, what does the rest of the day look like? Are you being intentional anywhere else? Because this is a skill we need to apply throughout our whole life. If you want results, you have to be really intentional. And it's interesting, right? Because I'm actually not very big on social media personally, right? Most of the time, if I'm on my phone, I'm either texting somebody back, calling someone back, and if I'm not doing those things, I'm creating content to post on social media. I'm not a huge consumer of social media. So even when I use my phone, there's intent behind it. Okay? And you will see me sometimes when I'm coaching, I will have the phone out because I want to show an athlete a video. Right? It's very intentional, my usage of the phone. When I'm away from coaching, I put the phone to the side. If I'm spending time with family, I'm very intentional with that time. I also, it's very rare I bring up pole vault with anyone else outside of the pole vault world. Because this is my time to spend with family. I'm going to be very intentional. Or if it's, let's say, free time for myself to unwind, I'm going to be very intentional. I'm going to enjoy my meal. I'm going to have a conversation with whoever I'm with, but something not pole vault related. I think living your life with intent and being very intentional with what you do is a very, very important skill. And to connect it back to pole vault and about the posts that I made today, yes, you should practice, I think, more than once a week, depending on your goals. Obviously, like, there's some people, whether it be for how far they are from their pole vault club, and I'm not just talking about Apex, this is for anywhere in the country. If you live very far from your club, it may not be reasonable for you to go more than once a week. Also, depending on your goals, like we have adults that train at Apex, it's really their outlet, their one place to kind of escape their busy day-to-day lives. So once a week it's actually a huge chunk of their time that they can selfishly use for just themselves, away from everyone, and just focus a little bit on physical activity and pole vault. So that might be the only time they can come. But if you are trying to fast forward the result, yes, you should practice 2 to 3 days a week. But if you don't practice with intent, then you will just waste time. You won't fast forward. You'll see people that train fewer days pass you up. And the same thing will happen in life. Every day that clock is ticking. And if there are results that you want in your life, goals that you have in your life, if you do not live with intent, the clock keeps ticking. And sometimes time will run out. So make sure, be intentional with what you do. Have a good week, everybody.